difficult to tell only because we have a very small sample size to come through from mousesports. But what we do know is that their loss to FaZe was the last game that they played on Dust2. That's something to also keep in mind. For mousesports, it's definitely not out of the equation for them to get a 2-0, but they need to be able to prove exactly what is on offer. Their last result in the last 3 months was against Liquid in Cologne. That was a 16-12.
Let's map 2 of our series and see whether mousesports can put that 2-0 on the table. Big set in with the defaults of the pistol, round double flash and smoke for tabs and double flash and HE for Tizian. I imagine that's a smoke down to the B doors position. Tizian setting up his flashbangs and his HE. That plume of smoke go in, try to drive the CT players out of position, provide a little bit of cover so they make their way out. The flashes will go over without use of the smoke at the B doors, so it allows Frozen a big line into the B site. Gets that first kill on Keto, taps manically to try to deal with Sears, and eventually a core lines up on Tabson for a 5 versus 3 now. Rops will get overwhelmed with the bomb, gets towards the site. Sears challenge still as he will try to look for the plants.
Beam is coming in from the back lines, out from the upper tunnels. Doesn't deny that bomb from going down, so it does get planted, but Sirison falls instantly. And it all comes down to gade to try and see if he can get some magic to happen, but everyone peeking in together. There is a bomb down, so Big can't afford to go in for the force fire. But mousesports, it was a great start. It was those early couple of kills before the bomb could even think about crossing into the site that made the most.
Big start for mousesports in that one, just barely holding on to the retake in that, but a 1v3 at the end of it. The last player just sandwiched between all 3 entryways in the site and falling down for it to a pistol again for the CT Forces, and mousesports to carry on their map win into a early pistol round. And for a CT start, that's definitely encouraging. You expect Big to be better on the T-half here.
Well, this is the first pistol round victory to come through from mousesports in the series. Big were 2 for 2 out for Nuke. Now the international squad getting one back themselves, putting an 8 out to the upper tunnels, which is going to be evaded by gade. Now, they did take the early long control in the last round. They're doing the same in the second.
Bashes continue to go over as the SMGs try and find a new way to work in along. Meanwhile, in mid, Big will act. One SMG closer to CT Forces. Tizian evading bullets. Khalil comes out, finds one individual, finds Frozen first and foremost. Rock can trade back. Gade gets involved. Overall, Big will maintain the man advantage. 4v3 with the bomb going down.
It's a difficult retake for mousesports, and are they just going to back off and save? Just hold on to their rifles, buy it up into the next. Great mid to B split, and dealing with that crossfire very effectively.
Smoke set in, ready to go down to the B doors whenever ready. Tabson's Deagle. Waits and baits. Not going to see anything on the mousesports side here. They're so back passive. They're looking for the save. They're looking for the head Kevlar into the next round, as Big will know. They'll recognize it. They might give up an exit frag to BMAS if they're not careful here. And AM4 will indeed win that fight and the second. So damage will be done to Big, making it a triple. Not quite the quadra, but still 4 casualties for Big at the post round.
That is all just extra, isn't it? And knowing they're going to be force buying going into round 3, that then gets yourself in a bit of an idea of, okay, not only do we need to be able to convert, but we've got the upper hand, knowing that the economy is going to be a little bit lighter. We're going to be able to reset them easier if we can get this conversion forward. And mousesports, you've got to wonder, are they going to go back for this early long control? Some decent spawns to come out for Big. That's where we're going to see Tabson try and open up.
The flash is over. Dexter going to face forward to the SMG. Past the blue boxes, smoking as Tabson wraps the corner. Does see one man, catch him off, spray through. Not quite 2, actually. BMAS trades it back to a 4v4, but meanwhile, the rest of Big acting out here towards short. Rops still trying to get involved with some damage being done to the scout. BMAS gets his Deegan involved, and the scout of Searson can't catch anybody past that smoker out towards this ramp angle. 4v3 advantage for mousesports, and Keto and Tizian are very low.
And they've got an M4 out from ramp, so a great weapon to try and work with in this situation. Keto down low, needs to try and win a fight instantly.
Headshots are plenty for the man. Needs to be, else he's going down. Time is starting to run short on mousesports. Again, no kit for this retake. The BMAS wraps over. Keto's going to hear these footsteps, try and get an aggressive face in, and Rops catches that kill for it. Frozen traded back by Tizian. And a core gets another frag. Tizian now all that remains here. They tap that bomb once, but they're dead out of time. They're going to sit the full 10 seconds. A core still gets that kill. Does BMAS have time for this defuse? I don't think he does. It's a bridge too far for him. They were a little bit early and maybe that could have worked, but not to be. Big win the round.
And mousesports, I'm surprised on how slow they make that retake when they know they don't have a kit. Maybe thinking they have a little bit more time than they actually did, and because of that, they get onto that bomb straight away as soon as the short contact comes in, and it's just not enough with that 10-second defuse. Big, they lose a lot of players, so for mousesports, they're thinking to themselves, okay, there's a chance that we can reinvest into an eco, keep the economy low, and now we start going back and forth a bit.
And mousesports having a couple of weapons in that previous one, and again dishing out a lot of damage to Big. So the key thing has always been the economy for Big throughout the course of the entire first map up. Now for this first half, it seems as well. Searson does land one good shot on Rob's headshot through the mid doors. Frozen caught by tabseN. Keto gets a kill down at lower tunnels. Dexter dealt with as is Frozen dropped. A core can find Searson at least up towards spawn, so there are some trades available, but just that scout drop in the main rifle staying in. Got a lurker as well for TZ to try to cut them off at the seams. The bomb's going down on the B site. Meanwhile, shouldn't be much left in this round here for mousesports.
That might be one kill. Yeah, it's an extra. And for that, there's a weapon that can be saved in from Bemis. Can chuck that scout away, be able to get over to what was out of that car position. Big get up to 3. mousesports, it's all about just doing as much damage as possible in these couple of rounds.
What Bemis can do in particular, grab that M4 that was dropped off his dead teammate. tabseN, gonna be waiting for the player. M4's not checking the right positions. Not aware this guy could be so close. What's tabseN waiting for? Back to be turned. I think he wants a knife. Nope, just goes for the tap. Gets that M4 back out. Will be a third to the board of Big.
Playing with his food a little bit there, but being able to get away with a kill and not falling for it, that's quite all right. I see the AWP upgrade coming through from a core, and you've got to imagine that when the money settles itself for this CT side, they'll try and get ROPS on that double AWP as quickly as possible. Dexter yet to get up. 0-3 going into round 5.
Guns out for both sides with nades to boot for mousesports. Well placed there from, I believe that was Frozen that threw that one. I'm going to get the M4 out and try and finish off the job that he started. Players making their face in. Keto engaged, gets the kill. A core wallbang headshot on the man. Finds the frag. Molotov's into the back of the site. Might not be needed. TzyN comes up good with the kill towards ROPS. Away case swap towards it. A 4 versus 3. Dexter is so close, but gets tagged heavy, as does Bemis. He engages against Searson, deals with him out of tunnels, so even man advantage as the retake comes in.
And with that door smoke being failed, they have to re-smoke it. mousesports in the 3v3 might as well have a bit of a crack at this and see if they can trap him in.
They'll do that much at least, but will they be able to get the retake in? I don't think they want to here. One player falling back. They're going to hold exit frag positions. Even a core's going to get out of mid-control. That one player back over at the tunnels, expecting there to be entryway for tabseN, gade, and TzyN to escape. They're going to go out through mid as they read that position. The AWP still has an angle. Oh, missing his shot, so TzyN gets away alive. Looks like gade's going to get away alive as well. 1 point of help as the AWP forced to run away. Gade does get caught at least by Dexter, and a core barely stays in.
And that whole round falls apart because none of the anchors at B were able to do any damage. ROPS fell, or Frozen fell instantly. ROPS was still trying to hide behind the smoke. And the only way that that round had some give to it was because A-Core got a wallbang shot on rotate and City Spawn, and Bemis was able to cut off the lurk, bringing it back to a 3v3. These B hits from Big have been very impressive.
And despite that, they're going to vary things up and try play the long default here. mousesports, heavy presence. 2 CT players pressing the issue. TzyN, the AWP challenge against, and he runs straight into it as the core continues to face. Does get caught up by the flashbangs and the automatics. Now the M4 Bemis that just cannot hold on for long. Keto gets his kill, flashing his way over towards long. Dexter caught off by tabseN, who does a lot of damage, but it's a 4v2. This might already be a safe call for mousesports.
And they're just brute forcing these duels in at the long position and finding so much success. Bit of spam comes through from the smoke itself and Frozen to hope to get some damage. This is going to be another save. Big have got off to one of the best starts they could ask for on Dust2.
Fifth round to the board. Looking great for the German camp to get another good kill on ROPS now. Keto catching him. And every player in mousesports getting cleaned up. And again, it is T's side for Big, so you can expect this to work out well for them. But as you mentioned, they have looked impressive on their B hits. Now the A hits look pretty confident. Not even technically a hit, they just took everyone out towards long and just called it a day.
Tabson dealing with that last player, making sure that Mouse don't hold on to anything going into the next. And up on the CT side, without extra money in the reserve with the loss bonus, you're not going to be able to get a buy together. You can upgrade ever so slightly. You can go for a hero M4 and a hero Orb if they want to go for slightly something more risky on Dust2. You'd have to wonder when the tactical is going to be coming through for the international squad. And for Big, they've just taken this T side into their own. Everyone is stepping up individually, something that was missing out on Nuke.
Orb in for Searson, tanks to HE, gets the kill on BMAS, and this eco starts off well enough here for the T side. Kill comes in easy, and B continue to press the issue. Try and make their way out through mid. Got Frozen to find, got Rops to find. Only 2 players on the B side defensive. They have got Deagles in hand.
Yeah, crossfire being set. These B anchors are having a tough time in this first half. Dexter with the approach aggressively up from the longhouse is being watched in by Searson.
Then come the kills in. And a long 2 players now left in from mid and B. They're going to hunt down every single player, it seems, on the big side. Might walk in towards short, go to that A player, recognizing that there's nobody out here. Rops and Frozen haven't given away any information, so there's not really much he worked from. But yeah, they will walk into that A side, get the simple site take. And there shouldn't be much left for mousesports. It might be worth it to go for it, but they've also got to consider the Kevlar and the helmet in particular for Frozen, so it'd be best to save, I feel.
And they don't have to go hunting. The only thing they're going to be restricting mousesports into the next round if they get these last couple of kills is taking the armor away and adding a little bit more reinvestment forward. So if they don't risk too much into it, they don't mind maybe having Keto just outside of the upper tunnels, just waiting for mousesports to sleep a little bit. 6 on the board, though, and the German side, this is looking promising. And looking promising, it is still early to tell, but you're starting to come up with the idea of double digits on T side is very doable.
100%. Just like how it was for mousesports on their first half. Big putting up similarly confident numbers, and again, this can be expected. Big unknowns have such a great strong Dust2, and mousesports letting it slip through the cracks to get their default ban out of the way. It's still respectable, but obviously they're going to pay the price for it right now. Tactical pause inbound. Seems like the best time to do so.
And no team in Group C has played the risk of perma-banning Dust2, just getting Big's best map of the pool out of there against EG, Fnatic, Na'Vi, FaZe. Dust2 was never insta-banned, and it was picked every single time. 5 for 5 in this group stage for the German side. And with this tactical, you've got to imagine that heads are going to be coming together between Mytha and Dexter to be able to come up with the successful solution to find their second round.
Question is, what is that successful solution? And can they use it to replicate against Big? Can they find a counterplay definitively? Or is it just a one and done kind of strat? If it's the latter, then, well, we might still be in trouble for mousesports, but double op set up in with the CT defensive. They've got 2 players out towards long, 1 short, 1 mid, and only 1 on the B site. With how good these B takes are for Big, that's a risk that mousesports are running.
Now, the AWP just being able to cut rotates out from mid. Dexter can't peek in dry, has to be able to put a nade or at least a smoke down to the cross if he wants to get over. One of the first times that for Big, they haven't used their early long spawns to take the early contact. Instead, they've slowed this round down, start running with the timer.
An engagement at some point later in that mid control, maybe the first place where they'll look for it. Dexter flashed, but not going to peek away from Cubby. Instead, re-aggressives just behind the door. Gade might not be ready for this. He's going for smokes down towards that long control, trying to set up the long take here for the T's.
So the crossfire's being set for mousesports. 2 at long. They are driving the attention away from Acor. That's the other orb.
He must still set in here. Flash is going over, evaded by the M4. Secondary flash over, player caught first and foremost. Keto can respond, taps and gets a call straight through that smoke. And now action in towards long as they've cleared up all the A defensive. Rotators are inbound. Gade trying to maintain his life force here. They haven't detected him yet. Frozen could get caught off guard. Fortis, he has no idea. Now looks into the lower tunnels and Gade strikes with a kill. Rops gets a trade back at the AWP. Looking away from the gap in that smoke, the T's can't cross back for it. Dexter does his best, but Searson does one better. It's all on Rops. 1v3. Gotta fall back and save as Big have slowly and methodically taken control of their 7th round.
And that round was pretty much over as soon as Gade deals with the rotator in upper tunnels. Robs does hit the shot onto Gade, so trying to stay alive with this AWP is going to try and get hunted down by the remaining T-side players. All just comes down to that long take. Tabs being able to deal with the AWP, but tough shot to come through from Robs. Only just getting a pixel onto Keto. And even having the confidence and the ability to go for the long take and still leave a lurk in the upper tunnels to just start dealing with the rotations. Big, it seems that in terms of the reads and the ability they're showing here on T-side, they're so far ahead of the mousesports.
$7-1 up for the T-side half. mousesports. Great effort with the double AWPs. Great effort from Robs as well to keep himself alive, but ultimately losing control of the round and losing another round to Big. Something's going to have to give soon. And again, we go back to that question of what is the counterplay for mousesports? What can Dexter come up with to dismantle Big's setup? Well, definitely nothing much in this particular round. It's just upgrade pistols on the half by. Should, in theory, be the 8th for Big.
Mouse did have a couple of steals, though, out on Nuke on some of these half-by eco rounds. The limited investments. And they've got that AWP out for a core if they can try and set it up with the Deagles. Miss smoke comes through from Sirison over the top.
Anna and Scenario back towards short control. BMAS hoping that they face towards him. Throws in a similar sort of scenario. On that B site, the short control is the main focus with that AWP. However, BMAS are going to try swing, does see one. Trying to bait them to move forward and punish this Deagle, but Big just got no give.
Yeah, Frozen's been able to find a pick over at that B site, and if they start leaning into this trap of mid to B, there's 3 CTs ready for them.
Flashes in, Tabson, caught next. Keto does deal with BMAS, and now a core turns that AWP back in, so Big caught off guard by the mousesports camp before V2 all of a sudden, and that bomb is siphoned off from his backup. Searson's got to make his way into the B site as Tizian makes noise over at A. That's their only option, and he has drawn all the eyeballs back here with the exception of Frozen, who still has his head in the swivel. The AWP of a core now looking in for Tizian. He's got no util to try and sell an execution, does shoulder bait, takes some shots back, but a core's AWP lands another frag, and it's all left to Searson. He will cross by the B doors. Try to look for an exit, at least get 1 kill, so now it's a 1v3 for the retake.
And the bomb plant's not really going to make a massive amount of difference with the economy of where it is, but if he gets more kills, he could do further damage.
Oh, baits in that AWP, but can't get the frag back. Smoke on the B doors instead. Going to act towards Frozen here, the AK in his hands. Scope in, flash over, and still a missed shot from Searson comes forward, so Frozen will land the kill and get that 2nd round of the board for mousesports. Good steal for them, only upgrade pistols again, that single AWP that they had. Now double AWPs and an AK saved into the next.
Dexter's doing some good calling on these sort of anti-eco rounds. There's a lot of these we saw out on Nuke. I think it was 2 in total, and now 1 on Dust2, where they haven't had the force invest, and they've still managed to pull it forward. That way that Frozen gets the kill out from mid, Bemis is trying to bait in the aggression up from short, and Big probably recognized that that's the play that's trying to come through. The A-core is going to be shifted with that AWP in the short position, and they go, right, we'll go mid to B. We'll try and evade that AWP completely, and instead there's a triple crossfire there for the CT side.
Rebuy back in for Big, of course, will come forward, as you mentioned. Not much impact on the economy with the AWPs. Brought back in, still plenty of cash spare. A core gets that first pick though, and Keto and Tizian respond back towards that short and long take. It's all on Dexter now in the back of the A site with it all to do. Tizian's facing up, can't quite see him just yet at Gandalf. Creeping pretty closely, now his head's been seen, and Tabson catches that frag. Rob trying to get a responsive in, turns it to a 2v3, but a 2v3 that favors Big as the bomb crosses the site. Should get planted soon.
And they're just having bad timings, and for the defaults, it's working so well. Beamer's caught out of position, A-core the same, Resmoke goes down, just allows any sort of way forward for Frozen. This has got to be a save, it can't really go for it.
An 8th back to the border, Big, similar to what mousesports were doing to them in the previous map up. 1 good round for Mouse, responded to by Big in kind, and now to carry it forward into an even bigger lead for the T side. Turning up that 8th for them as they do win the half.
Now, mousesports have got to come in tight and not give away these sloppy mistakes. Acor not getting flashed in towards a short position, being a little bit slow to getting into position too. Yeah, he gets that one kill and just gets instantly traded. And then for Bemis, he's not playing on long corner. He's not playing out in pit or blue bin. Instead, he's transitioning. He's moving from pit to that long corner, and he's trapped in the open. The flash goes in high. Perfect timing that comes out for Big. And these defaults, they are just finding opening kill after opening kill. Rops has to try and make a play, push forward with that city smoke to allow any sort of chance back into the rounds, and even that just doesn't come in. Second timeout to come in for the international squad. Big, they just look so composed on this map, and it doesn't seem like they're going to drop at all.
And tactical timeout taken in by mousesports. I believe they're second so far in this matchup. Try and figure out some sort of way to get them to drop. Try and find some sort of way back into this match, at least in this CT half. They might be very heavily reliant on the T half at this stage. If they get anything out of this, it may be enough. If they can get a decent CT half in this, that could be the difference maker. And Rops will turn his AWP in to try and get that together. Searson caught first and foremost in round 11. Big down by one man.
The first time in a while, Mouse have actually opened up. Kido with the jump spot, sees that player up into the short position, gets naded, but pushes forward of it, so doesn't really take a lot of damage.
Dexter with the M4 to swing, ready for Bemis right behind him. Still carefully placement as the smoke goes down instead to allow simple control back. Flash is ready to get Keto in position, perhaps. Options for Big, but they've got to be careful about this. They're down by a player.
A triple stack on short. This isn't something we've seen from mousesports before. Keto going to get re-smoked again, so his chance of being able to swing out wide and open up some space is just going to be denied for further and further. Big maybe thinking about retaking this long control. This time around, though, there's not even a long player for mousesports.
Izzy starting to walk out here. Flashes over as the AK starts to take swing of Core's AWP. Set into the back lines and needs to hold to that long control. Gade trying to draw attention out towards mid and actually does draw them away from that long presence. The smokes go down, so Big can try and cross here. Still got a heavy advantage on the mousesports camp. Keto just got to get up here, try to get the bomb down. Bemis does catch him, looks for Tizian as well. Double up, two players standing for Big.
Why is there a gap on the side of that smoke and they just get rolled because of it? Tabson at least doing damage onto one, somehow gets a second player. Time is low and now a chance for the bomb to go down.
Oh, Tabson burning a bit too much though, thinking he was safe in the midst of those flames, and little did he know as a CT swung up and caught him for some tag damage. That third will go the way of mousesports as Big do start setting in some mistakes now. 8-3. Big still lead. They have a buyback as well, but like you mentioned, some crucial mistakes in that whole round. The gap and the smoke burning alive. For a minute there, you thought Tabson was going to do enough to get the trades together with Gage trade back at lower tunnels, but it's again throwing that advantage away.
That schoolboy error in that smoke with the gap out into the cross, and for Gade, he's drawing the attention. He's doing a great job of getting out from mid, holding the B players to not rotate in, and even forcing mousesports to be a little bit more retake heavy towards that short position. Dexter getting tagged up quite early from the Krieg. We're seeing Tabson actually really enjoy the Krieg on T side.
Seen a fair amount of it from him so far in the first couple of maps. Flashes in, Tizzy to make his way up, smokes down. I think there's a gap in that one as well, a very slight one, but it could be exploitable by the CT side. Rops his AWP that will find the spoils of war first and foremost. Tizzy in. Caught out, smokes clear, Gade, big gap, and that right-hand smoke to work with to try and catch off Frozen. A nice open angle for Gade to work with. Rops will not take the blind fire as the T's press in to converge against the Mancina. Big box. Accorders get one kill on the way out, but Rops will fall to the 3v3. HP advantage of mousesports. The bomb's going to go down.
Kido's going to smoke down towards the door position itself, out towards window. Dexter can't find anything. They've got to commit to trying to get into the side.
He's making a lot of noise. B-Mash trying to find some sort of way back out. That nade on Keto is only going to do so much. He's got plenty of HP. Continues to get sprayed back. Tabson trying to watch both entries, thinking there might be a quick convergence in from mousesports. Keto's finally going to burn at 28, forced out even further in the open. And now Tabson reveals his angle, so they got all the info to play with mousesports, but they've got no time, no access to the site. Engagement's finally taken by B-Mash, gets 2 kills in, but they've come in far too late.
Yeah, and that whole round gets sour really quickly when Dexter makes the aggro play out from window and doesn't find success, doesn't find that one-for-one trade. And for a core, he was so passive, they actually were able to save the double AWP, so they have a little bit more of investment to follow into that next round. It's as soon as Dexter falls, A-Core is on the back foot. He's been quite defensive. Beamers, unless kills are getting floated to him, unless they start over-aggressing out from door and window, that retake is never going to be coming through. And for Big, they offer up a little bit of a streak of mousesports, but they end it pretty quickly.
Guns out, Dexter. Trying his best to return some momentum back for the mousesports side and almost caught tabseN, but no. A core can trade back gade at least on a short control, but it's the long presence from Big that becomes the main focal point. The split and the lurk was only going to be so much about this here. 4v4. tabseN is low. There could be potential, especially as Rock takes out a high HP player, Tizian now. Orb caught, nade close to Keto, will take a bit of damage. The CTs extend out towards Elbow to try to continue defending the A site here. That bomb is close to getting crapped up and planted down. BMAS gets another kill though, so that's a second man advantage for mousesports. There's no way in here for Big.
Getting the bomb down is going to be near impossible. They have to take Jules straight away. Keto's got to try and work on him with his teammate. There's still two players up on the short position, and even the AWP is aggressive.
55 seconds remaining. Big trying to find an angle. They're not aware of that AWP's position. I don't know if there was a gun barrel sticking out. Keto's going to plant safe anyway. CSN doesn't see him. Keto backs up to Goose, so now they have slight positions here. Smokes in, AK looks up. Thinking that a core might be around this corner. BMAS gets the kill first. The AWP is CSN now against 4. Finds that first pick. Bullets flying all in his direction. Verta Flash is going over. He's turned away from them. Gets behind that smoke. Can't look up to the site. He's going to get caught above said smoke as a core gets his frag together. And mousesports continue to try and make up the ground here.
That was a beauty of a retake to come in. The way that there's a jiggle peek out from that short position to allow the cross of a core to get the information that he's being pressed on from Keto, and then they just keep flashing the AWPer. They just keep forcing it back with util. They give themselves the high advantage onto the AWP that's already scoped in. mousesports finding their fourth. They've had a difficult time here on CT, but it feels like finally they're gathering some momentum. They're putting rounds up, and they're starting to close the deficit. And Big, well, they're kind of out of money.
Yeah, force buy involved for them here. The Tech 9s, PT50s, a scout. Not a lot for Big in this. How do you go from here? I mean, probably just try that very quick start, a simple play. Try and overwhelm Big overwhelm Mouse as much as possible here. Maybe get a bomb plant, maybe get some damage in. Damage might not mean much going into round 15 at this stage. It's going to be forced up anyway. Dexter sprays through and Keto catches him past that smoke. Now the Kree gets involved for Rops. Frozen gets his kill, his little piece of the pie. Bomb being dropped out in the open now for Frozen to maintain control of Rops. Does get flanked and caught off, but shouldn't go down. And neither should Dexter. It's a 5th round for mousesports.
Yeah, not the cleanest of rounds at all there from Big. Not being able to find much impact at all. Not a bomb plant either. So force invest in round 14. It's going to have to be a force invest again into round 15. And when you think about the lead that they had, the way that they were up 8-2, you now start looking at it and thinking, okay, mousesports bringing back the deficit of 4. They are closing in.
They can still make it a 9-6 half, which is more than can be said for Big on their last map. And the strength of the CT side might well be enough for mousesports. But now to just rest on the fact that they're only a 3-round differential away from Big, and 10-5 still plausible for the Big side. We know how well they were able to work off the back of that deficit. mousesports still have options. They still have potential here.
Keto was begging to aggress up from that short position when they got the info, and the early info the AWP was playing from there. Good utility usage from Mouse, just slow that play down, disallow Keto from making the aggressive move. It is going to be a split into the A site. They'll try to have to use this utility to force the AWP off angle.
$60 seconds remain. Big trying to find a workaround in this short control. All 5 players are up here. Bemis in the back of the A site, joined by a core from Long and Dexter from the Long house. Incendiaries on smokes for some back deep. Bemis just took that nade straight in the face. Flash tries to press involved here. Recorders get caught by Tizian, who makes it 2 frags. Dexter and Rob trade back on Keto and Tizian. The bomb will go down for it here. Player spotted at Pit. The scout shot not quite as great. Robs can connect one good frag on Tabson now. Gade also falls back here, and the scout's got something to do. Finds that first, and no more than that. mousesports indeed will make it a 6th round at the turn of the half. A struggle in this half, but ultimately one they can recover from on their T half after the break.